how do I display the date and clock time at which my data was collected in SPARKvue software? Traditionally, there's been just one type of time in SPARKvue, and that's the experiment time. When I press start, the experiment time counts up from 0, so every new run, such as this run number 2, starts at time 0 and counts up by default in seconds. Press stop. As of SPARKvue version 3.1, though, there's a new flavor of time. I'm going to go to the x-axis measurement selector and tap on it and look under the experiment clock, where we see the traditional experiment time and a new option called date and time. When I select date and time and press scale to fit, I can see that the x-axis changes from experiment time to the actual calendar date, which is shown on the far left, and the clock time. In this case, I can see that my run number 1 in purple was collected around 4:23 p.m. and my cyan run at 4:24 p.m. Now, there's some good things to know about date and time in SPARKvue. To illustrate these, I'm going to open a file I collected a few years ago with a temperature sensor. And in this file, I put a temperature sensor in a beaker of water in the employee freezer. Now, even though this file was collected before date and time existed in SPARKvue, my data is time-stamped, so I can change from experiment time to date and time, even in this old file. And with the appropriate scaling, I can see when my data collected, the date and time of my data collection. Now, this date and time option is available in other displays besides the graph. I'll click on the time selector in the table and switch that to date and time. I can see the date and time at which that old data was collected as well. A couple other things to know. The tools are aware of date and time. So you can see that, for example, the coordinates tool in the graph displays not the elapsed experiment time, but when the x-axis is in date and time mode, it shows the actual date and time, and delta tool responds equally well. So the tools are aware of date and time. So we hope the date and time feature will be useful for you for long-term experiments such as this one. And this is a great tool, we hope, for you in doing long-term experiments, and especially data logging with wireless sensors such as this wireless temperature sensor and the new wireless weather sensor.